Listen and then answer the questions.
Hi, Gracie. Can I ask you a few questions about your parents?
Of course, no problem.
Now, your parents live in Spain, don't they?
That's right. They have a house in Seville. They don't live in England anymore.
Oh, very nice. Do they speak Spanish?
They speak a little Spanish, yes.
Oh, interesting. And what do they do in Spain? Do they play golf? Do they go swimming?
They're both quite old now, so they don't do a lot. They're in a tennis club, so in Spain they play tennis.
Do they work? Do your parents still work?
No, they don't. They don't work at all now.
And do your mother and father come to visit?
Oh, yes. My parents come to our house in summer.
Oh, lovely. And do you all go out to restaurants?
No, not really. We eat at home. I love cooking, so we don't eat in restaurants.
Well, thank you very much. That's very interesting.
Listen and then answer the questions.
Brian Law is a train driver for Eurostar. He drives high-speed trains in England and in Europe. Brian works 4 days a week. Sometimes he's free at the weekend, but usually he works on Friday and Saturday. Friday and Saturday are very busy days for Eurostar because everybody wants to go on holiday or go home for the weekend. Eurostar runs every day, but it doesn't run on Christmas Day. The first train to Paris leaves London at 5:25 in the morning, so Brian starts work at 4:30. In one day, he does 2 or 3 journeys between London and Paris. He finishes work at 12 noon. Sometimes he starts late, at 4 p.m., and works until 11:30 at night. Sometimes he doesn't go home at the end of the day. He stays in Paris.
Listen and then answer the questions.
Vancouver is in southwest Canada, next to the Pacific Ocean, 24 miles from the U.S. border. It is always a good time to visit Vancouver. The weather is never too cold or too hot. It is warm and sunny in summer, but it rains a lot in autumn and winter. There are excellent shops in Yaletown, and there is also theater, opera, and music of every sort. Vancouver is the city of festivals. Vancouver is a cosmopolitan city, so there are French, Italian, Japanese, Indian, Thai, and Chinese restaurants. In the busy city center, there are some excellent expensive hotels. The beautiful Fairmont Hotel is $400 a night, but next to the sea, there are a lot of cheap, comfortable hotels from $59 a night. You don't need a car in Vancouver. There are slow, old trolley buses, and there is the fast, modern SkyTrain. Take the ferry. It is a great way to see the city.
Listen and then answer the questions.
Our school has 100 students and 20 teachers work here. The school opened 10 years ago, and I think it is one of the best in our town. Our teacher is lovely. She comes from a town not far from here. She started working here last year, and all the students love her. She helps us all the time, but she gives us too much homework. Now we are sitting in class doing this exercise. It's a lovely day. It isn't raining. After the lesson, I'm going to have a coffee with my best friend Simone. The course began 9 months ago. At first, English was very difficult, but now it's okay. We speak a lot better now. We are all going to continue learning English next year. We enjoy it so much.
Listen and then answer the questions.
Galileo Galilei was an Italian physicist, mathematician, astronomer, and philosopher. He was a brilliant scientist. Galileo was born in 1564 in Pisa, Italy. Galileo's early education was in a monastery. From there, in 1581, he went to the University of Pisa, where he was a student of medicine and mathematics. Galileo made excellent telescopes. With them he could see moons going round the planet Jupiter and the planet Venus going round the Sun. At the time, there was the belief that the Earth was the centre of the universe and the Sun went round the Earth. However, by 1610, Galileo's theory was that the Earth was not the centre of our universe. Galileo said that the Sun was the centre, and the Earth moved round it. His ideas were dangerous because they were different from the ideas in the Bible. Finally, in 1634, there was a trial. Galileo was 70 and not in good health, so he wasn't sent to prison, but he couldn't leave his house in Florence. It was here that he died in 1642.
Listen and then answer the questions.
The first moving picture shows started in theatres in England, France, and the United States at the end of the 19th century. In 1905, the first cinema, or Nickelodeon, opened in Pittsburgh, and by 1907 there were about 4,000 Nickelodeons in the US. The films were short, sometimes just 1 minute long, and silent, but there was usually a pianist to accompany them. Until 1910, the actors were not named. With the longer films, their names started to appear on screen. The idea of film stars was born. In the early years, American films were made in or near New York, but in 1910, many film companies moved to California because of the sunshine and the scenery. Westerns, films about cowboys, became very popular, and California was the perfect place to film. By 1914, American films were very popular, and Hollywood became a movie factory. Hollywood made its first movie with sound in 1927. It was called The Jazz Singer. By the end of 1929, nearly all films were talkies.
Listen and then answer the questions.
Last year, I went on holiday to Disneyland in California. I went with my parents and my sister and brother, and for all of us, it was the best holiday. We stayed in a very big hotel. We were in an apartment. It had 4 bedrooms and bathrooms, and we had a living room where there was the biggest TV in the world. Every day, we did something different. One day, we went to Universal Studios and saw how they make films. Another day, we went to the Magic Mountain theme park, and we went on lots of rides. Then we went to SeaWorld, where we saw whales and dolphins. My father was happy because he played golf in the mornings. My mother was happy because she went to the sports club. My sister and brother and I loved it because there was so much to do. In the evening, we went to different restaurants. One night, we went to Pizza Express, where we made our own pizzas. It was great. And the weather was beautiful all the time we were there. We had a fabulous time, and we all want to go back.
Listen and then answer the questions.
Linda Lewis is from North Carolina in the USA. She has been a helicopter pilot for over 10 years. Linda has always been interested in jobs usually done by men. At first, she wanted to be a firefighter. But after her first flying lesson, that was it. She decided to become a pilot. It wasn't easy. Linda had to pay for all her flying lessons. Each lesson cost $150 an hour. It took Linda 2 years to get her license. You have to have at least 150 hours of flying to be a commercial pilot, so Linda spent more than $30,000 learning to fly. To help pay for her lessons, she sold her car, her skis, and her camera. She also borrowed money from a friend. When she got her license, Linda spent 6 years working in logging camps in Wisconsin. She had to carry huge logs from the forest to trucks. Today, she works as a rescue pilot. She carries patients to care centers and hospitals. Linda has to work 12 hours a day for 6 days. She waits in a bunkhouse with other pilots for a call. After 6 days of work, she has 6 days off. Linda has also opened a helicopter school for students from all over the world. She's made friends with a lot of the students. Last summer, she spent a week in the villa of a friend near Florence, Italy, and went to Rome to a convention for helicopter pilots.
Listen and then answer the questions.
The Rolling Stones have been playing together for over 50 years, and for many people, they are the greatest rock and roll band in the world. The group was formed in England in 1962 by school friends Mick Jagger and Keith Richards, along with guitarist Brian Jones. Later, they were joined by Charlie Watts on drums and Bill Wyman on bass. They wanted a bad boy gang image in contrast to the most famous band of the time, the Beatles. They were soon pop idols, with teenage fans all over Europe and America. In 1964, they reached the UK Top 10 and the US Top 50 with Not Fade Away. The bad boys were on their way. In 1966, the Beatles stopped touring, and the Stones started. They've been touring the world ever since. Ronnie Wood joined the band in 1974, and during the 1970s, they remained the biggest band in the world. If Mick Jagger is the heart of the Stones, then Keith Richards is the soul. The two have survived ups and downs in their careers and personal lives. The Stones have made 55 albums and sold over 200 million records worldwide. They have played in all kinds of places, from small clubs to huge stadiums. In 2007, they played in front of the Tsar's Winter Palace in St. Petersburg, Russia, for 50,000 fans. They have given more shows internationally than any other band in the world. Their last tour earned over $559 million.
Listen and then answer the questions.
The President of the U.S. lives and works in the White House. The White House is in Washington. The first name of the White House was President's House. Now, its name is the White House because it has white walls. The White House has a swimming pool and a theater. There are 4 floors and 132 rooms there. There are 412 doors and 147 windows in the White House. The library and kitchen are on the first floor. The White House has 3 colorful rooms: red room, green room, and yellow room. The president and his family have dinner parties in these rooms. Every day, 6,000 people visit the White House.